Look at this photo. Do you recognize this photo? Have you been here? Do you have an overwhelming urge to touch the objects in this photo? Rub your feet against the carpet maybe? Dive into the couch? Gently caress the TV? Huh? What about this one? Or this one? Or how about this one? You wanna dip your feet into that water? You wanna strip down nude and do dirty things in that water, huh?
Well, I do.
What is a liminal space? We need to establish.
It just kind of leaves you with a feeling of this isn't quite right. Eerie or uncanny. But you can.
Why do we feel nostalgia? Nostalgia is the heart's way of reminding you of something you once loved.
Off-putting yet nostalgic. These two terms perfectly describe another phenomenon that's been explored a lot on the internet as of recent. Liminal spaces.
Why do we get unsettling nostalgia from liminal space photos? The backrooms is a great example of what liminal space is. And the backrooms has been really popular these past months, so I'm pretty sure you all know what liminal space is. But why does it make us feel an unsettling nostalgia? But before we get into that, an announcement.
So guys, before I started the video, I just want to say I'm so sorry for the inconsistent uploads. I'm trying to make a short film for y'all guys, an analog horror, if you may. So it's gonna take a while for other videos to get out, but I'm gonna try my best. And yeah, if you guys go do enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. Push the notification bell so I make a video, but first ones get notified. And yeah, without further ado, let's learn about liminal space
And why it gives us unsettling nostalgia. But first, what is nostalgia? Nostalgia is quickly described on Google Dictionary as a noun, a sentimental or longing or wistfulness affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. Nostalgia is basically when you see something or even smell something and it reminds you of something in your past. Like for most people, it's what happened in their childhood. Or on Wiktionary, it describes it as a noun, a longing for home or familiar surroundings and being homesick, which proves my quick description of nostalgia, and that it's triggered when you see something you had in the past, but usually it's a sense of happiness and not dark and unsettling, which you all have had to felt nostalgia at one point, no matter if you knew what it was or not. But more importantly, if you didn't know it was nostalgia, you knew that it made you happy. You knew it was fun to look back on those memories. So why does it make you feel an unsettling nostalgia? Why does liminal space make us feel an unsettling nostalgia? There is no simple answer for this question. There is no one word for this question, and even no one sentence for this question. And the reason is because no one truly knows why these pictures make us feel this way. But as stated as the museummagazine.com, they often lack activity and purpose, either because they lie unused or because they are spaces of transitional, of becoming instead of being. They connect to a basic human condition, ephemerality, the notion that nothing lasts forever. As generic as liminal spaces are, they become impossible to locate and thus transcend time and place, hinting at an eerie, otherworldly feeling. What it's saying is the feeling is the same as when you watch your favorite childhood show. The feeling that you had that this would never end. But why? Why do these pictures seem so familiar when you have never been there before? The LowLowGroup.com describes this as viewing a space within an accepted context is what we as humans interlook for. However, outside of that, in a liminal space, we lean away from it because it lacks context and purpose. So what I get out of this paragraph is that we know the thing we see in this picture should be full of life, but instead it is full of darkness and despair, with even some parts falling off, which makes it seem old and strange because you've never seen that place like that before. Then you remember you used to be there, or at least somewhere that looked exactly like that, but how as it's gotten older, you have also gotten older. And we have seen this unsettling feeling, not much so as nostalgia, but kind of an example of what our brains are doing in the Thatcher Effect. Which is an effect that makes a face look normal from upside down, But then when you flip it, it looks like a monster. And our minds know something is wrong with it, but it doesn't. It's like it's malfunctioning, because the more you look at it, the more you understand it looks weird, but your mind can't comprehend that it looks weird, at least for me. Because if they were really smiling upside down, their mouth would also be upside down, like in this photo. Just like in this picture, flipped upside down looks like it should be. But as we look longer, we can see the imperfections, just like as we look longer in the liminal space photos. We feel more nostalgia, more unsettling feeling. But for most people, they know that there's something wrong with the photo, but they don't know what and why until they flip it over.
Think of it like a small cognitive bounce. The problem is, when faces are unusually configured, like say, upside down, our brains can't use that same cognitive bounce. Things are mixed up and not quite in the same order that we're used to seeing them.
Now change faces to places. That's what these photos are doing to the brain. We see some of the things that we used to love, but upside down, and things are different, just like what we talked about before. Now we've come to our final conclusion after looking at all the evidence about why these photos, unsettling but nostalgic at the same time. Well, it's because our brains know these things are fun and bright, like we saw as a kid, because most liminal space photos are childish things, and putting these things we associate with happiness in childhood in a dark setting with intent to scare us, even though our brains know it should be a good memory. But maybe our brains, and even we, have not come to the realization of that we're not little kids anymore. Or it does, but you just don't realize it yet, because growing up is not as fun as you think. Maybe that's what these pictures bring out of us. That's why I think these pictures bring out an unsettling, nostalgia feeling. Thank you for listening to me. Have an amazing day.